and we'll just go ahead and start it out here. Welcome, everybody. They have given me the keys to the castle, and I am your host. Oh,
I'm
what?
tiny.
What happened?
Dracula show.
Oh,
I'm tiny.
what happened?
I gotta
Oh,
stand
no.
up. How do I stand up? Wait a minute. Oh, I gotta. Okay. Oh my gosh.
I was
How?
just about to go into a big
Yeah.
soliloquy over here, and
Yeah. We know how frightening
wow.
that could be.
Well, I know. I'm glad you came. People were starting to leave.
Oh, that's horrible. Yeah, all the hot single men, right? I know. I gotcha. I get it. I get it.
Yes.
All right. Well, of
Well,
course.
I'm so
Yes.
glad you
Yes.
came. How was your
Yes. Yes.
weekend?
Weekend, yes. Well, my weekend was very busy. A lot of the chaotic usual stuff with the whole caregiving stuff going on. But I will say that some people are familiar with the situation that I've been trying to get. Okay, so here's the deal. We had someone to cut the grass here for many, many years, and the guy just up and bailed on us one day. He never showed up anymore. A couple months go by, grass is growing. We're like, what happened to this guy? Find out he up and went back to Mexico without a word, and that was after years. So it was kind of weird. Yeah, I was like, "Huh, well, that's I'd like to hear that
Well,
story."
now look, being of somebody of Latino descent, sometimes my peoples don't always have a choice if they go back to Mexico, so that might have happened too. So it's I say that.
Oh,
So I
well,
mean, and I'm not. I mean,
yeah,
it's kind of funny, but it's not like I'm not trying to make light of it. But I mean, it is a factor. It does happen. I've had it happen to a
you
couple
are
family
so
members, and
making light of it.
we don't always have a choice. I'm just going
No.
to say that. So,
Listen to you
um,
going "we" when you're all, you're like all legal U.S. person. So come on now.
hey, I mean, it's no, but it does happen sometimes. And listen, I had
Yeah.
some trouble too finding somebody to do the outside. I think some people know my cousin. We're kind of helping each other out. So my cousin is living with me, and my cousin likes to kind of mention like, "Hey, you should do something outside with the weeds and stuff." And I was like, "Okay." I was like, "When you gonna help me? When do you want to do it? When's your next day off? Or do you want me to get somebody?" She's like, "No, you know what? Let's just get somebody." I'm like, "Okay, that
Yeah.
works then." So then I had trouble finding somebody too. So it's like, I get your pain. So what ended up
Oh.
happening with your situation with the grass?
Oh, well, so this is actually it turned out really kind of pretty cool. So the deal is that there is a guy who I found on TaskRabbit, right? And we used him during the pandemic once. He was amazing, great guy. Didn't need him after that because the lawn wasn't growing, and finally got him in and again. And after a couple years, but he remembered me because see what happened. I'm a little odd, I guess, because people just tend to talk to me, and so we would have conversations like it was an hour he was going to be doing on the grass. We ended up having like a 2 hour conversation. He kept it for the hour charge for the grass, but the whole conversation, he's like, "Let me come back this weekend. I'm not going to charge it or put it on the app because I love the conversation." And so, and I'm always giving them
Oh
Gatorades and giving
wow.
them, all these drinks and stuff to hydrate and stuff. And so he comes back and we have another hour conversation. I mean, the philosophical conversations with this guy. And of course, he was really awesome, right? And so then he was gone for a while and he said, "Hey, anytime you need help with anything," he goes, "I'll even come and cut it, you don't have to pay me. I'll come do some cutting of the grass for you, off the app and I'll just, you don't have to pay me anything." And I'm just like,
Uh,
Jesus. So
are we sure he's not
um
catching feels?
I kind of hope he was because I was totally, but I'm like, yeah, let's wait till let's wait till I get a few things in order in life.
Let's wait
But
till the grass is done and then we'll, yeah.
yeah, yeah. The grass is always greener, right? So he ends up being difficult to get a hold of because I just found out a couple months ago we were corresponding, and he found out about my mom and he told me it was actually the anniversary of the year since he lost his mom. So
Oh.
I was like, oh, so we have both been not on messaging as much as we used to be and should and all that in general and socials or anything. So anyway, longer story short, couldn't reach him right now. He one time I told him, "Oh, this stuff here, in the house we're going to move to and everything. Oh, the grass there is bad and this and that." He sends me a picture one day. I wake up to a picture. He went over to the house and he cut the grass, all of it, trimmed the bushes. He did it all for me to surprise me and sent me a picture of the beautifully trimmed grass and bushes and everything. It was just amazing. Yeah, I was like, God, that is so sweet. And so, so I had wanted him to cut the lawn here, but the problem being that he's going through stuff. So I found this guy on Task Rabbit. He and Kitty well knows this because I've been lamenting to her. So the guy reschedules like 3 times. I'm like, this isn't going to happen. So he finally showed up yesterday, 90 minutes late, mind you, but he showed up. He's a young 20 something. And then I looked at this guy, and of course he has these gorgeous eyes. He's like, if I was like in my 20s, I'd be all over that because this guy was super hot. I'm like, oh, such a shame. I'm like, could you age a little bit? So he was really nice and we started talking. He shared stuff about his life as one does with me all the time, which I'm happy to. It's awesome. I love that. I love that people feel they can share everything with me. That's fantastic. But finally, the grass, the cutting started, and I was amazed that he did as much as he did in that hour. And then he tells me, I can come off the app, and I could charge a little less on this too. He goes, as a matter of fact, if you want to add an additional hour, if you ever need to, I'll only charge you $10 for that hour. And I'm just like, well, what's with these guys being so nice, right? Johnny, nice guys. Hint, hint. Nice guys.
Hmm? Hey, I
Ouch.
I have no I don't know. I got nothing.
I got nothing. But I mean, that was really amazing. So that was my deal. The guy cut the thing, and he's going to come back in a couple weeks and get the lawn in the back, and I'm sure I'll find out even more about his life and his world, which is cool. So he was a cool guy, and that was awesome. So there was my huge issue with the traumatic grass experience. And I want to add,
Yeah.
I I would go out myself. I didn't have a lawnmower, but I got a weed eater, and I would go and hack the grass myself the past couple years just to keep it down as much as I could. But because my knee blew up and everything happening, with the back, and I'm like, oh, I can't do it. So I do have to. I just don't want anyone to think that I'm just being lazy. Okay, so I have gone out there and enjoyed the outdoorsy grassiness and
Well,
the beautiful
and,
nature.
and don't forget, you're taking care of a whole nother human being plus running the household. So I don't think anybody's
Yeah.
thinking that. Me, I'm just
No,
lazy and
no.
I didn't want to go outside. But I probably could have got it done, but no, like this job I've been doing is just all day, and I deal with people in Puerto Rico, and then I also deal with people in Hawaii. So as far as
Oh
time
wow.
zones go, like it's basically
You're all over
like
the
the whole
place.
day, and they're calling. So like by the time I'm done, I'm like, okay, now I have to like grill and stuff, and like sometimes I don't know if my cousin's home or not, but sometimes my cousin cooks and stuff, and it's really good, and I like it. But like sometimes I get that
Not
like,
always.
when is it your turn to cook? No, no, it's always she's always with the
Oh,
hits.
okay,
So
okay.
I get away with it because I grill and I have a nice time. I grab a little brewski and I go outside and grill, and I get my outside time because literally I'm inside this office for most of my life. Like it's just
Yeah.
like, so it's nice to get out and stuff. But my yard guy, I ended up finding him. He was kind of doing something on the corner with a sign, and I was like, hey, like I'm just throwing this out there. Like I don't know if you want to help out with my yard. And he came. He did a great job, and he's supposed to
Wow.
come by once a month now. And it took him a couple days, but I feel like I'm helping somebody, and they're kind of
Yeah.
out there doing their thing. And hopefully, I mean, I'm always home, so I mean, I hope they're not casing the joint and trying to wait for me to
I
leave, but
know.
somebody's usually always
That got me
here.
nervous
But he
too.
seemed like a good guy. I gave him a beer, Gatorade, whatever
Yeah.
he needs, and we came
Yeah.
to a fair, respectable agreement on things.
Okay.
So, because it's already getting hot here, it's running about, I don't know, it was like 90 today, and the sun is just
What? Oh,
scorching, and
gross.
yeah, I live out in the desert, and
Ugh.
it's tough, but enough about
Mm,
yard people and stuff like that. Sounds like you had quite the weekend
I
there,
know.
story, and got some stuff done.
Yeah.
I had a
100%.
wedding that I was
No,
in. I
yeah, you
was
were
one
doing
of
that. That's
two.
right. How'd that go? Ooh.
Yeah, really good. One of two groomsmen. Wedding was a hot mess, but it was the best one and the most fun I've been to. Everybody got there late. They lost the well, they didn't lose it. They forgot the marriage license, so the judge was waiting, but you know what?
Oh
It was just
no.
like this vibe though, like this vibe of everybody was chill. They didn't nobody really, it's not that they didn't care, they just didn't let it get to them. And this was the
That's
unique
good.
situation of, I don't know if I told you, like these were two people that I used to be in the fire service with, and they were both my friends, and I match made them. So
Oh.
I was really familiar with
Mhm.
both of them, right? And they
Oh.
both would invite me, and I would do stuff at their home and stuff like that. And their families were so welcoming to me. And we often go to weddings, right? Because we know either the groom or the bride, right? But this was the first wedding I've been to where I knew both families, and both families would invite me to things and to do things, on my own and with them. And so it was just really cool because it was just like endorphins. I was just happy. Everything was perfect. I was happy for him, happy for her, happy for their parents. So it was just really like I thought I was going to be stressed out. I had to give a speech, but everything was just
Wow.
chill. It was really good, and I'm so happy for them. And I am available for matchmaking services. No, I'm just kidding. It's a one time in my
Yeah.
life I
I'm
matched
gonna
up
start
somebody and
calling
it
you
worked.
Yenta. All of you musical
Yeah,
theater fans will know what that means. You bet I'm gonna call you Yenta now.
it's just
Is that
That's
from
awesome.
it
Fiddler
never
on the Roof?
stops.
Yeah, she's the matchmaker on Fiddler. Yeah, that's really cool though. You had fun. That's really
Oh,
nice, and I love it.
and,
Let me tell you
and
something. Oh, okay, okay.
last thing,
Go
and
go.
I was elbow deep in my new PC that I'm
Oh
building.
yeah, you were.
I'm very
That.
excited, and ooh, I can't wait. It's
How are
gonna
you
be
doing
better.
it?
It's audio
That
busting.
picture, it's
Uh,
all over the floor. How are you even? Oh my God, that's
well,
amazing.
it's a lot of wires and everything, but there's some components I'm ripping out of my old system, then putting into the new one. But for all the nerds out there and computer aficionados, it's a AMD A9 chip 700 series with 96 gigs of RAM. I have an NVMe in there too, and I have the liquid cooled NZXT with the screen on it, and a bunch of fans, and it's just I'm doing it right, and I'm trying to do it right, but
Wow.
just kind of like this was my Apple Vision Pro money, by the way. So I had
Ah,
saved up for
good for
months,
you.
almost a year. So I said, you know what? I'm gonna build myself an awesome computer instead of buying the Apple Vision Pro, and I'm liking it. And it's a lot of things that you don't expect to. Like I thought I had everything I needed. There's a couple of fan things, but I'll bring some pics for next
Mm.
time I come, so you guys could check out the PC. But it's looking cool so
Hmm.
far. It's all green and black, of course, and
I know. I
I
saw
have not
that.
figured out a way to
Oh,
put the
and the
Draculus
skulls.
on the
What's with the skulls?
AOI. Well,
The
that's kind of like you
skulls.
could put a GIF on there. So, and it's like an animated GIF you
Oh.
could put on the AIO, which
Oh.
is the
Oh. Oh.
cooler, which
Really?
is
Really?
liquid cools the chip. So, of course, I have to slap the Draculus on, but I haven't
Faye,
gotten
There's
there
Faye,
yet.
take notes.
all
So,
Take notes.
yes.
Oh. Okay.
There's
So.
all
Okay.
sorts of
Take notes.
different
Oh.
like decorations you can do for a PC
Oh.
once you get one.
hmm
Yes, we'll have fun.
And by
We
and
will
by and
have
by
fun. And
what I can do for
lights,
my PC, by what I can
glowy,
do for my PC, you mean what
glowy.
you're gonna do for my PC. So see, Faye is gonna come
Yeah.
here and she's gonna build my PC for me. Oh no, she really is. We already talked about this.
Yeah,
I
I
mean, it's a
am.
thing. And she is. She's straight up gonna come build my PC for me. And the cool thing
So
is
we'll
that
make it glowy.
she knows I like glowy green, and she knows I like my
Yep.
nice creepy stuff. Maybe I could have a creepy the
Oh.
creepy green haired girl clown who's bloody and stuff like that. Oh. Okay, okay. I
that'd
can
be
have one of my
cool.
things. Oh yeah.
We'll
Okay, okay.
we'll design some
Mm.
things.
Oh,
Let me
excited.
know
We're gonna.
if you guys need to bounce anything
Mm.
off of me. I've made a few
Oh hell yeah.
mistakes that you can learn about, and I
Sure.
will say so far so good on that AIO pump. I was really nervous that it looked cool but didn't actually cool. So far the pump's ultra quiet, and it's keeping the chip pretty low. Of course, I haven't put it onto big load yet of like a bunch of games and streaming and DJ, but I plan to get all that figured out when I get back. As you know, Mama Draculus is coming to visit, and we have another
Yes.
wedding next weekend.
Aw.
Oh my
So,
god.
yeah, so I'm excited for that one because I just have to show up and enjoy it. I don't actually I have to like, give a speech or do any
That's
dances or
nice.
pep talk or walk
Nice.
somebody
Just
off
enjoy
the.
it.
Yeah, so
Oh,
it should be fun. But once I do that, I'm gonna get everything hooked up on this one, and
it's
hopefully
exciting.
we'll get it going. But that was my weekend. What about you, Faye?
Wow.
Me? I don't know. I was just listening to your stories. I haven't even thought about my weekend. What did I do? I finished the last two episodes of the Fallout TV show. I
Oh, you
absolutely
Mm,
loved
did.
that. It was really good. It was really good. I can't wait
I need
until
to
the next
watch
one.
that.
I can't wait.
Yeah, it's pretty good. I mean, honestly, I was expecting more, but I didn't know the game before. I didn't play the game, so I understand it's more exciting when you play the game. But as just a viewer, I was kind of hoping for a little bit more from it, but it was okay. There's something about the girl, though, the lead, that nothing against her, but something about her sticks in my craw about her performance. I don't know what it is.
Hmm.
But there's something I was just kind of hoping to see a little bit more from. But nonetheless, I
Um,
mean, it was cool, and the ghoul's kind of cool. I like the ghoul. He's neat.
the ghoul is amazing. For
Hmm.
me, the cool thing is all the nostalgia. Getting to see all of the pieces of the world and maybe some of the
Hmm.
props and things like that. It's just every little thing that they throw at us. We're just like, ah, because of loving Fallout for so much. It's pretty cool. And my husband and I are going to actually play Fallout again. So it kind of
Oh,
In
good.
ignited that
VR?
spark.
Very cool.
No, not the VR. We like New
Mm.
Vegas game, the Fallout New Vegas.
Nice.
Yeah, we're really excited to try that again. It's been a long
Wow.
time.
Well,
Yeah.
that's awesome. Well, shoot. Okay. Well, we're speaking of games and playing and stuff. That actually segues
Oh, yes.
nicely into the first thing we're going to talk about. And heads up, guys, because his computer is all over the ground, we do not have media for you today, which is fine. We will go ahead. We've had that happen a few times. I know, but that's okay. No
Slackulous.
worries. Yes, like I like it. I
And
like it.
how?
Oh, and how? Okay, so let's talk about the company Razer for a minute. So they had made a strap for the Quest 2, right? For the Q2. And apparently people did not like it. It was a really, really horrible experience. And they are now have come out with an adjustable head strap system for the Quest 3, and they said that it's balanced in the back, so it's comfortable that way, that the regardless of your head size, it's got an optional facial interface that enhances the comfort but also prevents light bleed, right? And what's interesting about this, they said that this is based on expertise that they got from analyzing billions, that's billions with a B, of hours worth of data. They had a partnership with a medical device firm called ResMed, which makes CPAP machines and ventilators. And
Mm.
what they're doing with this is apparently they say this strap fits so well that it can still go the Q3 can still go in its charging dock with the head strap system still on. And they've used all kinds of scientific stuff in here to make it comfortable enough to wear for hours, prolonged use. They said this is supposed to be super, super comfortable. Now here's the
Nice.
caveat though. This is kind of the thing. The strap itself is $70, but so is the facial interface. So you're looking at $140 for the strap and the facial
Mm.
interface.
Mm-hmm.
They said it's got an ultra thin textured and profiled membranes that were engineered on a microscopic level, and it kind of floats on your face and all that stuff. And I'm sorry, for $140, I'm hoping it's going to be trimmed in gold because, let me tell you, I've gone through my VR cover interface on just on my Q2 alone. I went through three of those that they just snapped inadvertently in a couple of places. And, I take super good care of my tech. I've been known ever since I was a kid. Like I have some stuff from like 30 years ago that is pristine, and people are like, "Are you serious? It looks brand new." So I've always been enamored with my tech, and I take good care of it. So the snapping of the interface shocks me because the second my gogs come off my face, they go right into their case. Hey, the second my gogs come off my face, they go right into their case. See what I did there? I could be a rapper.
Woo!
Mm.
Yes, you could.
Damn.
So with that said, how are you guys looking at this for $140 for something like this? Is this something that you are
Nah,
intrigued with? Because no battery, that's the thing too. No Bobo action.
nah. There's a lot of Bobo things that I need. I need the ratchet so that I can like lift it up. I like being able to have it on top of my head and be able to look at my computer and then put it back down. I really, really, really
Hmm.
like that hinge and the
Hmm.
batteries. But I mean, I
Yeah.
want to try the comfort. I want to try it. I want to anything that can make it more comfortable is good. For some reason, it feels like the Bobo's just not as comfy as it could be. There's more that could be done.
Yeah.
So, yeah,
Yeah.
I would try it. I would definitely try it.
I wish they had a version with batteries. That would be, I mean, that would be like a like
Yeah,
sold. Like right here
yeah.
sold. I would love that. You know
Well,
what I
and the
mean?
ratchet.
And well,
Yeah,
okay, and the ratchet. And of course, if I were
yeah.
working. So I guess maybe I'm just not going to get that. Okay, Johnny, what about you? What are your thoughts on that?
Well, I've been known to have been called ratchet at times, but I feel like I still have Apple Vision Pro
Me
money to
too.
spend even after building this mega behemoth of a PC. So I may invest in
Ah.
something like this after the proper reviews. But honestly, I gotta say, I've gone through a couple different straps, and I always go back to the Vive Deluxe Audio strap with the
Mm.
Dracutech 3D printed adapters.
Mhm.
So
Ah.
I tried the Bobo
Yes.
and it worked and I love it. But what happened there was I don't know. Like, here's the thing: I need different head straps for different use purposes. If I'm working in my computer all day and I'm actually like viewing the screen, like if I'm actually doing like computer work, like for my job, and I've done that before, it actually helps me out. I actually like the Bobo M3 or what is it? The one that kind of feel like it sits on your
Yeah.
forehead on the crown. That's the one I
Yeah.
like if I'm working in 2D with the headset on as like screens as augmented reality. But when I'm gaming, it wiggles around too much for me no matter how many times I adjust it. So then I end up switching back to the Dracutech and the Valve or sorry, Valve. Oh yeah, it is the Vive
The
Deluxe Audio
vibe.
strap, not
Hmm.
the that one is just so comfy. I feel like it's molded to my head and maybe my head molded to it a little bit, but it just fits like a glove after years of and don't worry people, I clean it with alcohol and like it's not
Ha.
gross or anything. I clean it all the time. But I don't know. For 2D, it's nice
Hmm.
because I like the Bobo because it gives airflow for me, and I don't like really having it on my face. But if I'm gaming, like I need it sturdy, and I need to be able to turn my head a lot, and like if I'm in a
Hmm.
shooting game or something, or if I'm watching something like I don't know, whatever. I like moving around and not having the screen move too much. But 2D Bobo all the way. But I'd be willing to try something new. That sounds interesting. I'm a fan of Razer, the technology.
Hmm. Well, you'll have to tell
Oh,
us if you get this and see how it is. And I will also put up the caveat. I too am a recipient of the Dracutech workline. I'm sorry, workline, and I'm only
All
keeping.
sales
I'm only.
final.
I can't comment on it right now because I'm waiting until my amazingly brilliant builder of computer ends up coming over so that she can
huh?
help me set up the Dracutech headset
Oh no.
because I don't want to break it. I don't want to break it. So
I
at that
wanted
point,
to say one
uh-huh.
more thing about that Bobo. One other thing that I couldn't give up is the ability to detach the facial interface so that it turns into more
Mm,
of a mixed reality device where I can just put it really, really
mm,
close to my eyes and increase the field of view. I adore that. Even though it lets all the light in, I don't care about that because
yeah.
it enhances my VR life so much. So yeah, that
I
that's
think
It
one that
it's
VR is so
refreshing.
engaging though. Yeah, VR is so
Mhm.
engaging that when you're involved in it and you're engaged in it, you don't really notice the stuff around. That's never bothered me, any of that kind of like light bleed or anything
Mm.
else.
Yeah.
So, as a matter of fact, right now, like this is, I have it to where I mean, I can see a little hole under here, not even my nose hole, but a little bigger. And the nice thing about it is I can see, I can see order of things and what we're doing and what I'm going to be talking about next and all that. Whereas with some of the other stuff that I don't want it to be completely, covered up either. So,
Mhm. Yeah.
yeah. Now, what about you
It's a good.
guys? Is anybody out here intrigued with the Razor strap? Is anyone considering? Jump if you're considering it, or you're going to check it out because it does sound comfortable. I mean, like I said, I wish it had a battery though. Ark, what are you thinking?
Um, like you said, I mean, if I had a battery, I'd actually probably, I'd say $140 would be worth it. But without an external extended battery, it's gonna be a hard pass. Because I mean, like
Mm,
when you're
Yeah.
gaming and if you, I don't want to like have to stop playing Skyrim because I don't have something to swap out. So, I mean, I'm with
hmm.
Faye. The
Yeah.
Bobo, like being able to swap your battery back, just
Mhm.
it's hard to pass on that.
Hmm.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, the hot
And
swap is
actually,
nice.
one other thing, right, with the Vive Deluxe Audio Strap, I really like being able to flip up my ears and down. Well, not my ears, the earphones or whatever. That's the one
Hmm.
thing I like that I need to see if they had on the Bobo. But the Bobo was nice because, like Faye said, like the airflow and it feels less like I don't know muggy in there. I don't know how to say it, but it's
Yeah.
just
Yeah,
But I
Oh,
got the
that's
fan for
right.
the
humid.
Dracutech, so that's humid. That's it. Yeah, so that
Hmm.
works. But the ears is the audio. But yeah, and the other thing too, it is kind of pricey, and we did talk about the other day with the Horizon OS. Like maybe I want to start saving up for the next headset. Hopefully it's not Apple Vision Pro, but we're gonna get a lot of competition. So maybe, maybe that's something I don't want to spend right now. Maybe there's something coming down the road. What did we say? There was that ROG one they were trying to make. Maybe I'll save for that instead of the strap.
Mm-hmm.
And I heard Asus is trying to
makes
bring
sense.
one in too. I mean, there's a couple of other ones, especially now that that's opened up. Yeah, definitely.
Mm-hmm.
They are definitely working on that. And I'm very intrigued with those, as a matter of fact, because I've always been a huge fan of Asus, as a matter of fact. But yeah, so there are a lot of options out there. And the headset's it's like a black strap. I mean, it looks really sleek, right? It looks really cool, and it looks very sturdy, and it looks,
Hmm.
robust and everything. But yeah, I'm just gonna have to say, I think that the make or break is gonna be the hot swap. I think that is something that just really, especially people who are involved in a
Psycho,
lot of VR. Hmm.
was there audio on that one? Did they say
No,
like
no, I
headphones?
don't.
Or okay.
No headphones, no. Although that's another great thing they should have. And I will say that I have been trying to find something to use on my headsets. I used for my Q2, I had one of those silicone air cups things, and it didn't fit perfectly because of the different strap I had on it. But I had it enough to where it helped with the hearing a little bit in my right ear. But now I don't have anything, so hearing is much more difficult for me until I find something that I can use so that I can actually have it close to my ear. I do have, of course, I can plug in some of the headphones and things, but the little earpieces and things, but they are not really as comfortable for long term. And so that's why I've seen some of the
Mm-hmm.
snappable little ear things you can put over there. So they work in a pinch and once in a while, but yeah, I would definitely love to find something with earphones. That'd be awesome. Um,
Hmm.
so let's actually move into something interesting. We're going to talk about one particular robot story today because China unveiled Chang'e, which is the first fully electric humanoid robot that is capable of running. And I think, and people correct me, I don't know the metric system, but it's 6 kilometers per hour, which isn't that like 3.7 miles or something? I think it's something like that.
I I don't even know our measurement system, so
Well,
it
I
sounds
mean, the
what's
same
fast
boat.
really
though.
it's fast. Well, it's the first in the field of robotics. It's massive because this is the world's first fully electrically driven humanoid robot that can do this, which
Hmm.
is a big deal. It's a silver robot. We don't have media for it, but it's a silver robot. It's kind of it's a little creepy, but um, so it has a really lightweight design, so it can do really stable running. They put multiple visual perception sensors and something called a high precision inertial measurement unit, an IMU. 3D vision sensors, so it can navigate the environment really well. And it also has high precision 6 dimensional, they're called force sensors, I guess, for force feedback, to make sure that it's accurate. And there's something that I'm going to look at this. Okay, so I say this correctly. It utilizes a new humanoid robot motion skill learning method called state memory based predictive reinforcement imation learning. uh,
Oh
That's
boy.
a
that's a
mouthful.
mouthful. Yeah, and they said that this was a huge part in making the robot be able to run naturally. It can navigate slopes and stairs without even having visual input, so it can adapt
That's
to changing
cool.
environments. Uh, it's got agility. They had to go over obstacles and uneven terrain, and the agility is really awesome. So this is a very huge advancement. And of course, they're saying search and rescue and industry and all that stuff. But also, they're looking towards. They're very tied to. As a matter of fact, something we're going to talk about next. They are really connected. All this stuff is connected to their military there, so there are going to be some kind of military aspects to it, I'm sure. What do you
Mhm.
guys
Phone numbers.
think about that stuff? Okay,
Hmm? I think
what do you
that
think, Kim?
I'm looking forward to seeing how it goes. I want to see what it looks like, the way that you were describing it. Sounds pretty
Hmm.
interesting.
It kind of looks like a stocky, like a wide shoulders, stocky torso, but it reminds me of the T2 a little bit, like the skeletal one. But then again, they all kind of look a little like that. But this guy, yeah, it's really you have to look it up. We'll bring it. We can put it on for a visual next week too. But Johnny, what are your
That's cool.
thoughts on that?
I'm trying to see when I could start betting on the Robo Olympics and see what kind of action there is on betting on some of these robots running around. But it sounds pretty cool. I mean, it just, the weaponizing of these kind of makes me nervous. I was watching the news the
Yeah.
other day, and they were talking about the AI fighter, the AI enabled
Ooh.
fighter jets, where they can just
Mhm.
kind of, and the first,
Mm.
like, they always end it with, yeah, we're not just letting them, make autonomous decisions on when to fire things. But I'm like, are you really though? Like, it's AI. Like, how can you be sure? But I don't know.
Yep.
They say they're putting
100%.
checks and balances in place, but apparently, right, there's this military contractor that can actually implement this into an older jet. I saw them put it in, and they were dogfighting with the FA-22 Raptor, and
Mhm.
it was with a lesser capable fighter jet, and I think it was winning against the. I don't know. They kind of they didn't really go too far into it, but that's what was implied by the footage they were showing. But it's part frightening, part I guess it's gonna happen anyway. So what are we gonna do about it anyway? So
Mhm.
Mm.
Mhm.
Well, in your
What do
Robo
you guys?
Olympics, I would bet on Sparkles.
Oh, sparkles.
yeah.
Oh God.
Yeah, Sparkles
There
will
are
win.
people. Oh, people are freaking out about
Nice.
sparkles. There's actually been some stuff on
Oh,
the news about it. Oh yeah, people are commentating. Like some of the people, the hosts on some of these video things, they're like, "Oh, what the hell is this? This is scary." One of the guys says, "If they're gonna do a, if they're gonna do a robot dog, why would the first one they make be in drag?"
Aw, poor
And then
guy. You can't make fun
another
of
one's
him.
like, another one's all, it's just the same thing. It's just a death machine in a pretty coat or something, and they're just talking about how they would never leave their kids alone with this. And the one guy says, what about when they bring the dogs to the hospitals and they visit people going to surgery and everything and recovering? You think this thing jumps up on your bed and looks at you? You think that's not going to put somebody in the hospital or something else?
oh my
But
gosh.
I thought Sparkles was cute. I liked it. I liked how
They'll
they did
kill you
that.
with cuteness.
Yes.
Well, I mean,
Yes,
he could bring
100%.
you a beer too. I mean, I'm all for that. I'll have one if it can bring me a drink or make me something to eat. That's awesome.
Well, that's what one of the guys said about it too.
Sandwiches.
He said basically that, yeah,
Oh,
basically he said this is just a table that, this is just going to carry your stuff for you and come around. It's all it is. And I'm like, but he's so cute
Oh
and he
my
can dance.
gosh.
So,
just imagine
Aw.
you get home from the grocery store and you're like, "Hey, take care of this for me. I'm going inside." That would be awesome, wouldn't it?
Would be.
yeah, but you know what?
Truly.
He'd probably bite you because you're all telling him to take care of it. Whereas I'd be, Sparkles, honey, oh my God, sweetheart, could you do me a huge favor? Would you please help me carry this inside? Thank you, honey.
Yes,
See,
yes,
I would
that's
be
the way
like,
that you talk to your AI. Yes,
oh yeah, you
yes,
got to
Your
be super
robots.
careful with
hmm
it. Yeah, look at
Yep.
Johnny. He's all like, "Yeah, I'm badass with the AI," and all of a sudden we're like, "Son,
Yeah.
we're all here for the." Well,
Someday you're
welcome
going to
to
pay
Virtually
for it.
Live. Faye and I would like to let you know that Johnny's been missing since he did adopt Sparkles from a shelter, and we're not sure what's going on there. So we never know. However, moving to keeping on with technology, and let's turn to some brain computer interfaces. So, since we were talking about
Ooh.
Gong for the robot, China's interface technology is moving really quickly, and they are focusing now on cognitive enhancement on things. So, what they did is they have a brain computer interface that allowed a monkey to control a robotic arm just by thinking about it. And the monkey, its
Hmm.
arms were restrained, which makes me sad. And it controlled this robotic arm and had the arm pick up a strawberry. And the thing about it is China has been using the external things, on tape to the scalp and everything like that. But it's really difficult sometimes to get the full reading through the system. That way it doesn't connect as well. So what they're doing is they are now internally implanting these things onto the brain, which is scary. They're going inside and doing this. Um, it's a system developed by
Mm.
New Cyber Neurotech and the Chinese Institute for Brain Research. And they're basically soft electrode filaments that they implant in the brain. Which, I mean, there's something creepy about it because, I mean, in the US, they've done similar stuff, right? But it has been to help paralyzed walk or paralyzed to move things or exoskeletons for folks with paralyzed and they can get up with an exoskeleton, they can move a little bit, things like this. Uh, but the thing about this, what they're concerned about is they are also now going to be utilizing this technology apparently not just for people that need help. They want to use this on healthy individuals to learn to control people's memory, their sleep, their actions, their thoughts.
Oh.
And this is what's really scary about this is that all of this stuff, like I said before, is completely closely related to, they're always related to the military here. So at least here we have some companies that are separate and that are, doing things with autonomy and stuff like that. But this stuff, you know, they're doing all this funded by the military. Everything is the military has overseas. And so the discussion about being able to have human machine interface, in the military and warfare, all these different things is really, really frightening. Being able to control drones just by thinking about where it's going. And I mean, there's a lot there that's really frightening about it. How do you guys feel about that stuff?
Wow.
Johnny?
Me, I'm gonna go with I think it's cool, and I'm all for it if it's like advancements for helping people see that are blind and helping people hear.
Mhm.
Like, it's all interesting, and I don't know. I feel like surgery to I know they're testing things and still figuring it out, but I've always kind of thought about this. I think it'd be cool, but once they figure it out, of course, I'm into all that cyberpunk dystopian stuff, and it is
Mhm.
very cool, but I don't know that I'd sign up for it if they're just testing. And my thoughts are
Mhm.
maybe they could come up with something with nanobots or something like that to run some sort of neuro interface, or make the runway, or the wiring. Maybe that's a better way than cracking somebody's, skull open and trying to figure out how to. Maybe the technology, like what they're trying to do, the technology to get it done is not caught up with it yet. Now, as far as
Mhm.
weaponizing and militarization of this technology, it's kind of scary. And it, it's a little it's cool, but it also a little concerning. And it's just I really don't know what how it's gonna go, but I'm
Mhm.
sure that there's gonna be mistakes before it gets better, just like with anything. And I mean, war and the military is the number one driver of technology, and has been for a long time. Like, a lot of these advancements happen because people need military superiority, or maybe it's something out of necessity at the time during a battlefield, and it's
Uh-huh.
just it's concerning. I hope
Mhm.
there's checks and balances in place, but I don't feel good about the country that's undergoing that, and I'm concerned about the rights of not only the animals but the people in
Mhm.
certain situations. So it's quite concerning. But on the other hand, if it can help people see and hear, it might be cool. But I think the jury's still out
Yeah.
for me on what this is. But I lean more towards concerned than intrigued at this point.
I have to say I agree with you on that too. And listen, I would, if they could, I would give anything, anything at all. If I had one wish from a genie with all the stuff I've got in my life that I would like to make better, if I had one wish, it would be that my dad could see, and I would give him back his vision. And he is older, but I could have a lifetime of my hearing back or whatever, more so. But forever, for his age, it doesn't matter. I want him to be able to see. And he would love. First of all, he always asks, oh, oh, is it Faye? How's Faye? How's Johnny? What's happening with him? I mean, he asks about my friends that he has said hello to. He said you guys have said hi to Papa Psycho, and
Oh yeah.
and other people, and he's always asking. And I'm trying to figure out a way that he could be. I was talking to Johnny about this, that he could be in here somehow, because he hears part of this when I'm with him, but doesn't hear a lot. But I want him to kind of be able to be in here and at least feel to be a part of things. And he would love VR. My God, we would be on this all the time together because it's got so much that he would enjoy. And I mean, something like that, if there were a way to make people see, I think that would be amazing. And here's
Absolutely.
the question. Here's the question. How much do we allow it to be scary and to move forward, even though ethically we're concerned and we're a little afraid, security wise and everything. But the
Mm-hmm.
advancements could lead to things like this for people who can't see, can't hear, and all these other things. Faye, what are your thoughts on all that?
It's it's literally what's being covered currently in the reading that I'm doing of Ready Player 2. You
Hmm.
guys should read that book if you ever get a chance to.
I'm only
They're
on your
talking
first
about.
reading of it, by the way. I haven't gotten to
Oh,
the
okay.
second part. You.
Well, pick up the book. It's just amazing. But
No, I just like
the
to listen to you do it. Go ahead.
the neural brain interface that they have in that is doing these exact things. It's repairing sight. It's allowing people to walk. It's allowing these augments to take over and repair the human body and make it
Mm-hmm.
whole again so that they can live as if these things are not happening. But
Mm.
it's the same kind of questions. It's the same kind of things. What happens next? Are we going to be uh, another thing to think about in all of this is checks and balances, but also what about if we're leaving behind the real world for the augmented reality world and the VR world? How much are we going to be leaving behind living in reality and things like that? Because
Mm.
the better it gets, the more amazing it gets, the more the graphics get better and things like that. Uh, Actually spending
Mm-hmm.
time in the real world. That's what was up for
Yeah.
debate. So it reminded me of that when you were asking me that question. Yeah, I think that
Mm.
like what you were saying with checks and balances, making it so that they can't turn on us and that things can't go awry in that way is definitely what we want. But
Mm-hmm.
when it comes to it, we already know that AI is rewriting programs and doing things. They're
Mm-hmm.
allowed to make their own updates. They're allowed to, you know, do things like that. So
Mm-hmm.
I think
Well, that's
trying
true.
to keep keep it into a cage and keep it into a set of rules is going to get farther and farther away from us.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Definitely trying to, but mhm.
No, I
But
agree. I think
I
that's true. Mm-hmm.
absolutely absolutely think that it has the capability of repairing sight, repairing hearing, so many different things that can happen. I do agree.
Well, when we spoke about Neuralink that last couple shows ago, Elon Musk's
Yeah.
group and how that first human, to be able to utilize those things and how excited he was to play his game and everything. So, I mean, just bringing joy to people in any sense of the word, I think it's important. What do you
Mhm.
guys think? Does anyone out here jump up and down if you have any thoughts on that? Because I'm kind of curious what people's thoughts are on this kind of thing versus, how serious. Oh, we lost Ark, how serious we need to be concerned about, security and ethical things versus, how it can help forward in medicine. We actually have
Mhm.
the thing too that I want to actually I can probably just launch into this. The next thing I want to talk about, which is incredible because this is something that I have been advocating for so many years. So I have a health background, my studies and all this stuff, and for me, the human body is the most amazing thing in the world. I'm enamored with it. My degree is kinesiology. I had 2 years of going for my psych degree, and then I have to go back. I had to stop, and so I am just enamored from head to toe with the human body. I love everything about what it can accomplish, what it does, and so there's been a huge thing for me where I have been, especially after the pandemic, and many people that I personally know who have had their lives saved from VR basically because of their emotional situations and things they were dealing with, mental situations. I know people that were agoraphobics that couldn't leave the house and VR saved them. I know people that were medically confined to beds or to their wheelchairs, could not move, could not leave the house, and VR saved them. Were able to have social interaction. People who were depressive and suicidal, VR saved them. And I literally know some of these people myself, and I see what VR can do for people. And there is a new study published in the JMIR Mental Health, and this is talking about the promising role of virtual reality in treating major depressive disorder, okay, MDD. And the research, it's from Stanford University, and it's talking about how XR, VR can help alleviate the symptoms of the MDD. And they have found that this affects obviously millions of people, right? People face barriers to this. People can't afford it. They can't get to it. They're afraid of the stigma. They're not comfortable in an environment with people and things like that. And the thing that's amazing is with VR, they don't have to worry about all that. And this Dr. Paul, they had a randomized controlled trial. There were 26 outpatients, right, that had MDD, and they were receiving remote care. And when they used the Quest 2, the participants were doing things like playing like a magical VR board game, deciphering clues for puzzles, playing mini
Mm.
golf alone or with friends, dancing, things like that. And they found that the results from this study is that the VR had the same effect as traditional like teletherapy and things like that would have as having a therapy with a therapist. And the thing about this is amazing because I had had some groups I'd run before in the past, and here in Banter, when people, people had asked me, "Hey, you going to do one in Banter or something?" I'm like, "Oh, I don't know," and all this stuff. But then I heard some people share some of their stories with me, and people talking about how they felt these things they didn't have anyone to talk to, and I'm like, you know what, I'm going to do that. So that's when I went to talk to Faye, and I'm like, I want to launch some kind of mental health thing in Banter with VR, right? Some support groups. So
Mhm.
there wasn't anything here at the time, so that's when I brought in the peer support group and the social anxiety support group, and I was I was amazed at how wonderful the people that joined and came into it and were so brave in sharing, what they were going through, and the incredibly
Mhm.
supportive community and everybody in there supporting one another. People breaking down, people going up to them and hug them and going around them. It was freaking amazing, right? And then and Kitty was coming to that for the longest time, and then Kitty went ahead now and she's started her own, and I know we've got someone else coming in from Horizons with it, and so the idea that we have to promote mental health in any way we can, and the VR is amazing, it's incredible, and all the things that are going to happen going forward, I mean, it's just going to be insane. And so this got me so excited because we continuously have proof of what VR does, right? I know that there's a particular individual I want to have on the show as an interview at some point, and he is the head of a hospital in Spain. And what he has done is he has introduced VR to the hospital, in that the interns, the doctors, the interns, the physician interns, you know how stressed out being an intern is. I mean, obviously we've seen Grey's Anatomy, but it's
Oh
even more
yeah.
stressful than that because they ain't getting busy in the back room. But what's going on is he has the interns during the day. They come in, he puts the headset on, they go through some apps and some different exercises. They have shown that the stress levels of the interns have dropped dramatically by something like 33 or 37% or something. I mean, it's incredible just because they
Mm.
are utilizing VR. So, I don't know. Faye, what are you thinking about? You know how passionate I am about this stuff, so I need to shut up because I can go
I
on forever about this.
know. No, 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 don't shut up. No, I totally see that passion. Yeah, I can see how that is absolutely happening. Do you know what apps and things like that they used when they were spending their time in VR?
They
In
didn't
in the
they didn't say, but they did say obviously mini golf. So we're assuming. I mean, I'm gonna
oh,
assume
mini
that's
golf.
walkabout. You know, and
Yeah.
then puzzles like clues to solve puzzles, things like that. I would be
Mm-hmm.
really shocked if they didn't use Trip, actually. That I would think that they would. So I would imagine that they
So
have different
cool.
things they utilize. I'll have to look that up though and kind of see what they've used
It
because yeah.
it just totally takes your brain away. It totally takes your brain away from your stresses and your worries and things, and overwhelms you. I can see how that would be pretty amazing.
Hmm.
Absolutely.
Oh yeah.
Mhm.
Johnny, what do you think?
I think that's really cool. I've always kind of thought about VR, and when you're kind of describing what happened with COVID and stuff like that, like I feel like for me it was the opposite. I was really social and I would always go out all the time, and then I started getting to VR, and I'm like, hey, this is great. Like I don't have to get ready. Like I can just like throw it on, and it was more entertaining than watching TV. Suddenly I'm involved with projects. I'm DJing. I'm in a play, or I'm doing a hunt or
Hmm.
something like that. It was just really a nice workout and a break, like a workout for my mind and socially and learning new skills and meeting new people and not even having
Mhm.
to leave my house. I feel like maybe it's like the opposite for me. Like I stopped going out. Like I'm like, hey, like,
Hmm.
save a couple bucks or well, not really, because then I start buying all this other
Mhm.
stuff. But I don't know. It's just I ended up staying home more, and I'm like, I don't mind it. And then COVID happened, and I'm like, hey, I'm ready. Like I'm ready to social distance again. Like now I fully work from home. Sometimes I have to travel, but for the majority of the time I'm working from home and I play from home too. So
Hmm.
it's really cool. I've met some really cool people and I think it's good. Now as far as programs I guess what's the rehabilitation programs for VR.
Mhm.
I always thought it'd be really cool to use VR as an incentive for inmates for these visits, right, with their family
Yeah.
or whatever other visits, right. I think
Mhm.
it's a good way for them to
That's awesome.
start to interact with society again, and seeing like how I think there's something there because it's something they could work towards, and I'd really like to see if
Mhm.
there's a study or something like that. But I always thought VR in prison would be good for, obviously, right, we don't want them doing VR poker stars or anything else like that. We probably don't want them in VR chat, but something that's monitored, right? Think of like the prison phone, but it's a VR experience and they could visit with people, and it gives them that connection of human, human interaction that I think would be pretty beneficial, because I feel like you would lose that in prison, right? There's
Mhm.
definitely a lot of
Mhm.
human interaction, but there's not any
Mm-hmm.
positive interaction. So I
Mhm.
think
Yeah.
the benefits of VR as a whole are yet to be discovered. I mean, listen, there's cool games, there's cool stuff to do, but I do think there is something in a clinical sense or a rehabilitation sense for VR that
Mhm.
needs to it remains to be discovered. And it's all that, that stigma of VR, that, oh, it's just a game, it's just in this. Yes, there are games in VR, but when you think about it, right, we're talking about what is consciousness, right? What is this brain interface, right? Technically, you're entering another reality when you're going into VR. Well, what's to say that the benefits in doing things positive in VR are not going to affect you in real life as well? And I think that gets downplayed. So much research is needed. I'm a big fan of it, and I think there's tons of applications that we don't even know yet that could be beneficial with VR.
Mhm. I will say, because you brought up a good point with the prison system, there actually are programs, and I know like in Ohio, New Mexico, and Colorado specifically, I know that there are some. I have looked through that too. I've been intrigued with this because I'm watching Wentworth right now on on Netflix. Right, I watched Orange Is the
Yay.
New Black. I'm watching Wentworth because B, I love B, and you know what? When she was in Xena and I was at the Xena convention, I did talk to her and I did get her autograph. I'm just saying. But Danielle Cormack, she's awesome. Um, but the thing of it is I was thinking about it too because I was watching it when I was kind of in my headset. I thought, oh, what if they like if they had this? And I know that they've actually been trying to do that in certain prisons for probably since like 20. I thought it was 18, maybe something around there. I have to look it up, but I know that they were doing that with the inmates because the problem is the return or whatever you call it, the return rate, re-in integration. What is it when they come back to prison after they've been out and they've
Oh, the
reoffended?
repeat offenders.
Yeah, so
Mm.
they have
Mm-hmm.
found that, that rate is massive. People end up back there again. So what they were doing is with VR, they were trying to not only have them learn real world skills, I mean, learn skills through it. They're trying to have them learn some things like that, but also get them the feel of being out there with the public and things like that and with people and trying to see if that's going to help try to curb the aggressiveness of some of the inmates. And I never followed up on the results of that, but I will look that up because you brought that up, and it's a very good thing to kind of see where they're at now with that because I'm imagining they've come a long ways. Um, but what do you guys? What is the anybody out in the audience here have a thought on this? Because I'm really curious what people have to say. Oh yeah, Diego.
Yeah, great topic. I like this one. Friend of mine that me and Psycho both know, Q Creator, sent
Mm-hmm.
me some information on VR. Hang on, let me bring it up on my computer. VR therapies, and it's in Delapre Abbey, Northampton, United Kingdom. And this nurse that he knows started this program with just all VR and just bringing in people that have never been able to swim or see dolphins or walk or do things. And this whole clinic that she came together and built this thing called VR therapies. And they just did a study, and I'm not going to read the whole thing, just real quick. They did a
Mm-hmm.
6-month program, supported those with long term health conditions using the power of VR and immersive technology to enhance physical health and well being within our community. And the results, absolutely incredible. The
Mm-hmm.
impact speaks for itself. 100% of participants reported an improvement in their mental health. 100% felt more active and engaged. So if you ever get a chance, check out that website. It's just absolutely amazing. So the mental health benefits of VR are incredibly impactful, I think.
Well, now is this on our on the thing with the three of us? Did he send that? Do I have to look that up or I haven't seen it yet, I guess.
It's on our Facebook page. So whenever
Oh,
they
okay,
do
okay,
post
okay.
something with that, I
All
do
right.
post all that stuff on VR therapies that they're doing over there. I'd like to be able to see those
Hmm.
opening up all around the world, and
Yeah.
I think that will happen one day. You know.
Well, see, I'm gonna piggyback on this because Diego and Q Creator, the three of us are involved in a project that we're going to be working towards again. And in this thing, the thing about meeting him, it was awesome talking to Q because he has had a couple of strokes, right? And he and I were commiserating about, and we found out that we both used VR to help us come back from the strokes. It was during the pandemic. I used VR to help rehabilitate myself because I couldn't go to physical therapy, right? So I have a kinesiology degree and I have done theater and singing and all that. So I utilize all that stuff that I knew to rehab myself at home, to bring myself back. And I used VR. I went into my zombie game. I went into Drop Dead, and I used to get headshots all the time. And now I was all over the place. I used that to work on my hand-eye coordination. I went into Trip to relax myself and try to put myself in a good space. Walkabout to try to work with. I mean, I used all of it, and VR helped me come back. VR helped me come back from the stroke. I am 100% sure of this. I would swear to it on stack of Bibles. And again, why I'm such a huge advocate. I mean, I
I
myself have
agree.
experienced it personally, right? And you guys were there with me the whole time through my stroke
Hmm.
rehab stuff, so you know how it
Hmm.
helped me. Um,
Yeah.
so with that said, Dio, thank you for sharing that, and I definitely want to check that out because that is just amazing. Oh man, I
Mhm.
love that. I love that. Thank you for that. Who else has any thoughts? Anyone else with any thoughts or
Should I
no? I
participate?
who's talking? I'm sorry, I can't.
Here, here.
Oh, Indigo, Tiny Indigo. Yes, of course. I see you
There you
as a
go.
robot. Sorry, I'm not seeing a. Okay, there we go.
Um, Hi everyone. I think
Hello.
Hi.
Hello.
I have a long experience in
Okay.
virtual reality, like 4 years ago.
Mhm.
Even I know Faye from Outspace before,
Mhm.
Hmm.
and many people right here. It is a great topic, actually. It started with human body, and now we are in the virtual reality. Actually, I can say to you that I am well experienced about it, starting with venues, and then
Mhm.
Outspace, and then I went to VR chat, and also there is a great app for mental health. I think it's named Inner World, and I participated with them
Yes.
right there. Yeah.
Hmm.
Yeah, I
So
was supposed
those
to be a
people is
guide with them actually.
yeah, that's a great opportunity
Mhm.
to see you here, and what you are saying is accurate. But everything in life has its own positivities and its own negativities. Okay, we have to put this in count if we want to be just and we want to take all the benefits. For example, if you take long time in the VR, this is could cause you a lot of pain, could cause you stress and stuff like that. We have to speak about it.
Mhm.
Yeah, it's good, and it's a social platform that grab all the people from around the world, like international place, that is not contained with politics or anything like that. It's
Mhm.
social and beneficial to the person. Like it will take him from his loneliness. It will take him to a different worlds that he visit and take a lot of knowledge. But also, too much VR is not cool as well. We have to admit this.
Mhm. Mhm. Mhm.
By the
I think I
yeah,
agree
go
with
ahead.
what some of what you're saying here, and you bring up a good point. Cause listen, there ain't no drama like alt drama or any other VR drama, and listen, there's a lot of negative too, and things can get heated,
Yeah.
and it's just the
Yeah.
passion of which people go in and the sharing of
Mhm.
ideas. It's bound to happen, and you're absolutely right. And I do think there is a certain I don't know what to call it, but I feel like we all have this unique link because at this point in time, VR is still not mainstream, yet we can all agree that we're sort of putting aside the campiness of putting on a VR headset and taking it seriously. And I have to think we all have some sort of link because of that and see some kind of common ground. Now, that being said, yeah, once you bring politics, once affairs of the heart, happen
Mhm.
in here,
Mhm.
like things can go awry. But I mean, you bring up some very valid points here,
Mhm.
and I think they're very good. So
I
Yeah,
agree, and I think it's true. Being in VR, it's just like sitting in front of a television for hours on end, or playing. The kids who sit and play video games and don't go outside and get any sun. I mean, there are always you are absolutely right, and there are always going to be um, drawbacks, and there are always going to be things that you have to be careful of, and that's just standard. That's standard stuff, real life.
Everything in
But
moderation.
everything in moderation,
I
yes.
I agree with you.
Yes.
I would like to
But I
add
will.
a point
Uh-huh. Okay.
regarding to this.
Mm-hmm.
Um, my experience in VR, it's a not short one, it's a long one. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
so I took a conversation with a lot of people. I might have more than 400 people as a friends in the Oculus. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
so I have a lot of discussions. Faye, she might be knowing this as well. I was a speaker in Muslim community. I
Mm-hmm.
think they
I
are here in
remember,
the
yeah.
VR as well. Yeah, Abu Khalid
Yes.
and Islamic events. So I had the dialogues with many people. Actually, what we must focus with is how to have a conversation with other person. There is an art. It's called the art of communication with people. This is more useful in the VR. We have to look at this and we have to focus on this because once you are in the VR, you're gonna mingle with a lot of people from different nationalities, different culture, different ideas. So you might have to understand them before you engage with them. This is very important.
Okay, now I take your point, and yes, it is. And I will say, the support group that one of the support groups I run in here with the peer support yesterday, we were having this very conversation. Communication was a major topic, that a major buzzword I kept using yesterday, because I'm a huge believer in communication. And I agree with you. And the reason I'm going to actually step in on this now is because I completely agree with you 100%. But the article we're focusing on is about how VR can help people in terms of the mental health, and how it can help people with the physical. Those are the aspects that we're intrigued with. The idea of helping people in prison, the idea. So we're talking about the rehabilitative and the helpful aspects of VR, of which there are many. And unseen. And again, yes, we don't know. I mean, there haven't been studies. We don't know till long term, like what happens to our brain and our vision after being in VR all these years. Well, we won't know that until in the future. But all we can
Mhm.
go with is what we have now. And I know that VR has personally changed my life in many ways and enhanced it in many ways. I have made relationships in here. I have friends that I have true love for, that I love just as much as the people in my daily life. I would to ride or die. I would die for some of these people. So for me, it comes down to it's what you make of it. And if you are a good human and you go into VR or any place at all, and you are a good human, and be that for anyone that you can, you help inspire other good humans. You make contact, make relationships with good humans, and you try to bring that about in whatever environment, in the real world, in VR. It doesn't matter. The bottom line is being a good human, communicating with one another, and promoting kindness, empathy, compassion, understanding, integrity, honor. Those are important, and it doesn't matter what medium it's in. So, with what you say, I agree with that, and that all aligns with that properly. But when it comes to things like VR itself, I know myself, Hugh Creator, we are living proof of what VR can do to help you come back from a really, really bad situation. Um, and I will say that, with that said, I know we're going into the karaoke. I know the host, so it's all good. But this stuff is important. I have no
She'll
problem
let it
extending this.
slide.
I let it slide. Yeah, she'll let it slide. I slip her a 20. She's like, yeah, whatever. She's easy. So so I have no problem us going a little further with the discussion if we are here. And if Zed is still streaming, please, feel free to continue. We'll go into karaoke. That's fine. Uh, but with that said, I am curious to hear anybody else from the audience. Does anyone else have any thoughts on this with regard to VR and how it can affect you in any way, with mental health, with emotional, physical, any kind of thing at all? If you do, I do want you to jump up and down so we can get your thoughts, because here's Ark again. Hey, D, what do you have to say about it? D, let's hear from you.
First
Are
off,
you
I
muted
just
it?
woke up.
Oh, that's okay.
Good morning.
So,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
yeah,
Happy to make it in. Um,
yeah.
so I think that VR is really good. I'm not sure exactly if this is what you are talking about, like the good and the bad. but I think it's really good. Uh, it's helped me a lot, and I've made some really good friends, that lifelong friends. I'm hoping, because you're just amazing. Like, I mean, even my therapist agrees that Psycho's badass, and like, actually told me
Aw.
today. He's like, "That's a good person to have in your life because you tell me straight up." Yeah, he
Oh my
actually said
God.
that today. And then I
Oh,
told
thank
him that your
him.
name was Psycho online, and he was a little bit confused. But
I could understand that confusion.
yeah,
Yeah, yeah. I will
but
say with
yeah,
Inner World, with Inner World going in and Psycho, what we were talking about too with Inner World when I was going to be a guide in Inner World, and they're like, oh, maybe we should change my name from Psycho. So in there, I'm Psych with an E with Psyche, So that's awesome.
but
Oh, so
yeah, I
please
think
tell
it's
him thank you.
a
Please
good
extend my
thing.
thank you, my
Yeah, I
thanks to
will do.
him.
I will
Thank you.
do. But yeah, that's my experience, anyways.
Awesome, awesome, D. Thank you. I love that. Jem, what are your thoughts on this?
Oh, I think VR is definitely amazing. I can honestly say for myself, being an adult and moving from one country away from all your friends and coming to another country and trying to like, you don't get to like go out there and actually meet people, especially if you have children. So you're in a new country, you're trying to put your kids in school, there might be other health things that are going on, like, with like, my father-in-law was passing away at the same time. So it was like a lot when I first moved here. And so for me, I ended up just basically taking care of my children and not thinking about myself. But then I found that, oh, like I used to talk to everybody, and all of a sudden I became this hermit crab. And when I came in here, it
Mm,
was like, oh, finally, like I can
mm,
be myself and relate to people and talk to people, and you all understand what it's like to be in VR, and to not try to explain it to siblings who don't get it and understand it,
mm-hmm,
and which is kind of
Yeah.
nice. So for me, it's
mm-hmm,
definitely has like I feel like my bestest friends are like in here, and the
mm-hmm.
people I just can relate so well with. And think about it. We're all around the world. How amazing is that, too? Like, when do you get that
Mm-hmm.
opportunity to meet
Exactly.
other people from
Mm-hmm.
around the world? Like, who would have known
Mm-hmm.
that most of my friends are from the UK? And it's like, whoa, like, this is cool, you know?
Yep.
But
I agree
absolutely,
with you.
yeah.
I agree with you.
It's very
Well, and
true.
here's the thing too. It helps with it gives you the other thing too is having the avatar. It does make you feel courageous in a way. I mean, literally after the reason I'm singing in karaoke, guys. I first of all, karaoke has always scared the hell out of me. You can put me on stage and I'll sing in front of, I had one time I had to sing just a solo performance in front of 2,500 people with no rehearsal. I was scared to death. I was sweating through my clothes. And I would get up there and I'll do that. But then after the stroke, I was really nervous about it. I lost my singing voice. I couldn't, there was so much I lost. My regular voice was affected everything. But you know what? It was after I tried to work on it and build it up. And I thought, God, I wonder what would happen. And I was so afraid of getting back on stage and doing all that. So I was in alt space and I went into a karaoke thing that was going on. I went in and out of that world like 10 times. I left 10 times. I was so scared. And I was so scared. And I said, damn it, you know what? I don't care. The people don't see my face. I'm going to do it. I went up and I sang, maybe this time from Cabaret. I was completely so afraid. And after it was over, everyone was nice. Okay, great. And I left. And I got a message that night from a friend who said, congratulations, you made it to the next round. And I'm like, what are you talking about? It turns out I had walked into a competition and I didn't know it. And so I was faced at that moment like, I can sing enough to where they want me to continue, but I mean, like, can I do it? I was so scared, and I decided to stick it out. Which normally I would be afraid, right? And I'm like, I don't think I can do this. And I talked to Faye about this, and Johnny, you guys are. I was like, I don't know what to do. I'm scared to death, and and Faye's like, you have to do it, and everything. Like Johnny's like, yeah, yeah, So it's like I had the support of my dear friends and my other friends too, indeed everybody. And what was wonderful about it is the support from the community in VR, for my friends in VR who supported me, right? And I didn't have people in the real life supporting me because they don't understand what VR is. They're not going to be like, oh yeah, do it. They don't get it, right? People just didn't get it. The support here is non-existent, but the support here is amazing. And I went in there and I ended up doing each competition till the very end, and we were down to the final three, and that was it. And that was like out of 60, 70 people, I guess, originally. That's what they told me. And I was so scared to that very last moment, guys. I was still scared. Every week I'm like, am I going to do this? Should I not go anymore? They're giving you a song to learn, and I'm not familiar with it. Should I do it? But I did it, and I put myself out of my comfort zone, and I stepped into a very frightening territory. But VR gave me the courage to do that. In real life, that would be hard. You know, auditions are scary, and you always question yourself.
Oh no.
Oh no.
But you
Oh
want to
No.
know
no.
something? She did so
Oh,
well. She's really made it through
she
the whole
did.
show without
She
this
made it through the
happening.
whole show.
Oh my
Yeah, she
Yeah,
made it through the
honestly.
whole show.
She was
That
Can
was
I
probably
say
battery.
something else, Faye?
Sure, of
Can
course, Divine. Let me put you on megaphone. Go ahead.
I totally agree with what she was saying. It totally helps you with all that stuff because that's how I felt whenever I was starting my workouts and stuff like that. Like I would hate to go to a gym, and it was just like so like I don't know. My self esteem was horrible back then when I first started doing my workouts and stuff like that. So I didn't want to go to a gym. So when I started it on Alt Space, it was like so comforting to me because I could see my avatar, you know, because it had mirrors and stuff like that. I could see my avatar as I worked out, and that's what I looked at. I didn't look at myself as I was working out, you know, like so that helped me a lot whenever I started. So like it really did. So I can completely understand how that helps her.
Oh yeah,
And I want to
100%.
also the people that have done shows, right? That when we did the shows in VR, I mean, people who haven't done any acting before, right? Well, Faye is a perfect example because you know how
Yeah,
talented Faye is, right? But you know what? She didn't realize she could act too. And man, she'd
I
get
had
up
never
there and
acted.
she'd never acted
Yep.
before. And so, you know, it was so great when she and I could work on stuff together. She got out there on stage and she was Jasmine and brilliant. Freaking Johnny blew me away because first of all, Johnny and I met during Peter Pan. I was Wendy and he was my brother John. And you know how that happened? Well, no, actually, we met before that. Sorry, because they said they needed someone to play my brother, and I'm like, oh my god, I got the perfect person. Let me get you my real VR brother. So I'm like, Johnny, come do it. And he didn't want to. He's like, oh, I don't know, I haven't done it. He was amazing. And then he went on to do freaking Iago in jazz in Aladdin and was funny as hell. And so I mean, it was amazing. And so this is an opportunity. These guys had not done any acting, right? And I was not able to be involved in directing and all that producing and acting and stuff in real life at the time. So it brought us together perfectly. It allowed me to come and bring what I did and bring them into learning something new. And they are so talented and brilliant. Same thing with Dee, right? Dee went
Yep.
ahead and you saw her on the video for the haunt, right? I mean, she hadn't done stuff either. And the thing I love about VR is it also allows us to help encourage people. It allows us to get the opportunity to show people what they are capable of. And that is what I love with the haunt, with the shows, with everything that I do. It's always about the fact that every single one of you has something inside of you that you are not even aware of, but we can bring it out together because it's there. Everybody is amazing. Everybody has something wonderful inside them, and that is what I love to help find and bring out. I feel like I'm the GPS of let's find the coolness inside you and bring it out because I freaking love it. So VR, I'm sorry. I see this is why I got kicked out because I can't shut the hell up. But
No, no, no,
this
no,
is
no. It's
exactly
awesome.
this is exactly true though. I mean, because everybody here is a thing about this. And you know, when Jem came in and Jen was doing, you know, she wasn't going to be a part of it, right? And I wanted her to do some acting. But what we did is we went ahead and compromised, and she wanted to do mod. And I'm like, okay, I want her involved, so that's cool. She could do mod. She was amazing. She was amazing mod. And you know what? People loved her. Everybody got along on the in her maze was amazing. There's never any problems in there. It ran so smoothly, and it was incredible. And I still want to get her to act. I still want to get her to act, and I'm gonna keep working on it. But the fact is that there are so many things, right? And like with you guys, having the haunt in here, and also the one in VRC, I want you guys coming and doing this because I want you guys to get in there and act and have fun and find this other fun stuff you can do. There's just so much. Why can't I shut up? We need to
I
do
want to
this.
say something too.
Okay.
It is fun.
I'm sorry. I'm
It's
just too
okay.
passionate a person.
Me too. I
Damn
want to
it.
say something.
Okay, Faye, you
I
go
just
first.
wanted to, yeah, I just wanted to say that I think honestly a lot of this in the way of virtual reality comes with that we're able to don a mask, and because of this we're able to essentially hide behind that mask. People can't see our expressions. They can't see how other people are looking at us, and that in turn gives us some confidence. And this confidence that we have can make it so that we can start socializing more with other people when we normally would not. Let's think about realistically walking down the street and just passing by people, seeing people in a shopping mall and things like that. How many real conversations would come up with an introvert? Not too many. It's just not something that you'd see that often. But the more time that you spend in social VR, and if you're actually in VR with that headset, it just gives us confidence to be able to have these conversations with people all over the world. And as you practice things in life, you get better at them. And so we're doing this in VR. And if you have a lot of time in VR, if you spend a few years in VR, you're going to find yourself practicing those attributes in real life. They can carry out to real life. I've seen that happen to so many people, and I'm one of them. There were many years that I've spent in VR where I was much more of an introvert, and I kind of hid by myself, did my own thing. But the more conversations that I have, the more confidence that I get, the more courage I get to apply and try out for a dream role that would make me so happy in life, but I probably would not have tried out for it in real life because of fear and introvertness. That eventually did happen, that I was able to try out. And I think that the reaches of what virtual reality can do for people, for their self-confidence, and to bring them into more of a of a place where they could actually talk to people in real life is definitely there. I know that I'm much more comfortable speaking with people out there in the real world than I used to be myself too, because that's transferred over, and I've heard of stories from many people about that. And with all of the seclusion that we had with COVID, where we had to stay inside for years, that it enabled people to continue to have that practice, to continue to have that social aspect, so that when they got back out into the real world, I think they were better for it. So that's something I'm very passionate about too, and can talk about a lot too.
Yeah, you're much
But
more
I've seen
eloquent
it. I've
talking about
totally
your
seen
passion
it.
than I am. You have very classy, passionate elegance, right? When she's, I'm all, and this, and this, and this, and this. So, oh, man.
Ark, what's up? I see you jumping like crazy over there.
I could not possibly agree more with you, Faye. I mean, you're so spot on with that, especially about the masking thing and the counterintuitive thing about, it does let you put on a mask. That mask, though, gives us the freedom to let out of us things that we have kind of that are suppressed and kind of been oppressed by just the nature of, we live not in the best real world. I mean, it kind of sucks. Spoiler alert. But I mean, having the mask of, VR allows another part of ourselves to come in, because you talked about being an introvert, and the complicated thing I think we all sometimes take for granted is that extrovert, introvert, it's not this static thing, because the complexity of human, personalities and socializations is, we talk about it being on a spectrum, but it's even more complex. It's multiple intersecting spectrums, and a lot of them are dynamic and, have even phase variance and frequency to them, just like the electromagnetic spectrum is. So, I mean, I just, you said that as beautifully as I think anybody could, and I just want to say, yep, totally.
Yep, very
That's just
eloquently
what I
well
ended
said.
up seeing. About
Can
you
I,
had something you
Jem?
wanted to say? Wait,
Oh, I'm so sorry.
I can
Microphone him.
It's
Sorry,
okay.
it didn't work.
No problem.
Okay, wait one
By
second.
the way, this is out of topic, okay? Before I say my
Just one
point.
second. We can't hear
You
you
should,
because the microphone's not working. Can you re-enter?
Hello? Hello? Okay. You can hear me now?
There, that's better. Yes.
Okay. This is out of the topic, but you all should listen to Faye in karaoke. It's absolute top notch.
Oh,
Anyway,
Yes.
so
she's
we
brilliant.
go back.
Absolutely beautiful voice. Absolutely voice of an angel.
Regarding to the
I
to
concur.
the topic about the virtual reality. Okay, there is some things I observed regarding my journey to all virtual reality. For example, take a VR chat as an example. There is no restricted right there. Like you're gonna see kids going to worlds which is plus 18. You're gonna see people that is doing stuff that is beyond your imagination. But in alt space case, for example, it's restricted for children. Children cannot go there. So there is also bad stuff about the virtual reality. We should be careful from it. Okay? That being said, yeah, it is a good journey when you are in the virtual reality. For example, you have many things to do. It's about games, it's about social media, it's about making friends. But take Altspace as an example. We built right there relationships with people, and we made friends with them for years. And eventually, the app went away. Like they shut it down after all of this, and all the friends like separated into different places.
A lot
This
of
is
sadness
a
came
good
with that.
example. Yeah, it was very sad. It was devastating, actually. Many
Still is.
people, they
Yes.
cried. It was emotional.
Mhm.
I've seen them with myself, like we're looking to each other like homeless, everywhere.
Yeah.
That was devastating. So we have to be careful from this. The VR is a tool, and this tool needs another tool with it. For example, Altspace, VR Chat, Inner World, and many, many platforms inside of it. Platforms is related to companies, okay? And these companies, one day they might decide to shut down, they might decide to change, they might decide. Why we attaching ourselves to these companies that we don't know what decision they're gonna make in the future, okay?
Sure.
Well,
And
we've always.
we have also
Yes,
to
sorry.
put in the table the economical position of the person. He might not have money to buy a new VR. He might not have money to take a full body tracker to be happy with his friends in dancing places. It's a lot of things. It's a lot of things. We
There's a
don't have
lot
to
of
put our.
aspects.
Yeah,
Right.
exactly.
Yes, but I'd like to interject here, though, and I'd like to say again, I agree with what you're saying, but what we are talking about right now is about the virtues of VR. Yes, we know people have to be careful, we have to watch, we have to regulate, we have to moderate, we have to monitor ourselves. We know that. But this is discussing the beauty of VR. This is about the positive aspects of VR. This is about the things that we get from it that we need, that make us better humans, that make us give us self esteem, self confidence, make us feel loved, make us feel wanted, make us feel worthy. And the fact is that we are all worthy in this world, but a lot of people don't get that IRL outside of this headset. But I can guarantee you that if you come to any of my projects, you will absolutely feel worthy, and you will be told and reminded of how special and how pertinent and how much you matter in this world. And that I can do in VR. That I can do in VR, and that I will do and continue to do. And that is what we're talking about right now. But I do
Yep.
appreciate your
Where the
thoughts.
Indigo?
You're very well spoken, and I thank you. I thank you for that. Does anyone else have another thought they'd like to share? Jim. Mm-hmm.
I honestly have to say, everybody knows I'm a talker. But when I do talk, it's out of because I don't no wait, I don't like silence. But I think it's an amazing tool because even though like I talk a lot because of nerves or because of, you know, it's just nice because the ones that are really quiet, you just kind of go over and have a chat with them and then you oh my God, the beauty of it is just to see like within a couple of days they're like talking to everybody. And I just think it's like I don't know. There's a lot of amazing things, like a lot of amazing things that I've seen since I've been in here. Just
Mm-hmm.
really cool. And
100%.
seeing somebody just
Definitely.
standing out in the corner and saying, "Hey, you don't have to
Oh
talk,
yeah.
but please just welcome into our circle. Come stand with
Mm-hmm.
us." You know, and then eventually within a couple of hours they're starting to chat with you and it's just
Mm-hmm.
the beauty of it. It really is.
Yeah, I
Beginning of
agree with you.
friendship.
Absolutely. Thank you for sharing that because that's amazing. Dee, did you have a thought? I saw you jumping up and down.
Yeah, I totally agree what everybody's saying about the talking thing. Y'all know that I love to talk too, but I love to talk to certain people. I wasn't more of a like a approach you at Walmart type person, but now I am. I actually got in trouble from my niece just the other day because I was in the hair dye area and I was like, "How do I make the color green?" I was looking it up on my phone and everything. It was taking
Is it yellow and
forever.
blue?
So this person walks by and I said, "Hey, how do you make the color green?" And my niece is like, "Shh, you don't know her. She's not gonna talk to you." And I'm just like, "What? I just asked the question."
Oh man.
I was
That
like,
is
maybe
so
she knows
awesome.
the answer.
That is so awesome. I love that. I love that.
I
I
love
love
it.
But
that.
where are you gonna find yellow
Yeah.
hair dye, y'all, to make the color green? So I mean,
Yeah,
yeah.
Yeah.
Anyways,
Well, yeah. No, that's
apparently I
cool
got
of
to
you,
find some
Stacia.
other
Thank you for
chemicals to
that.
do it. But yeah.
Yeah.
Anyways, I found that
I love that.
hilarious.
Seriously,
That is
seriously,
hilarious,
that
though.
that emerging of your confidence to have those conversations in the grocery store
Yeah.
and stuff like that is what I'm talking about. Yeah, like yeah,
Yep.
I definitely feel it. I feel it. Yep.
Does anyone else have any thoughts out here about that? Um, okay. All right. So, Johnny, do you have anything you wanted to say on that topic? Any additional things to add to that, or?
Oh, what? No, I'm just kidding. I think what I like about VR is that here's the thing, like, and I think it kind of feeds into this whole like confidence with the mask. And I won't go too long because I know we're short on time. But
It's
my thing
okay.
is I like it when we go in here. We're sort of all equal, right? Everybody has an avatar. There's no, as far as I know, up until this point, there's no like monetary, like everybody can do everything, no matter what level you're at or what age. Everyone could come and go see virtually live pod talk. Everyone could come and do karaoke, even if they want to or not. They can attend, and there's something refreshing of everyone's sort of. It's not that everyone's the same. It's that everyone's kind of capable of the same. And some people like to produce things in here. Some people like to consume, and there's nothing wrong with that. And I think it fits the need. But when I think about the welcoming community and banter, it's just really refreshing. Discord Kitty, Ark, and then Zephy the other day was hanging out with him in his place, and everything's just been like, it's so just cool just to come in and hang out with somebody. There's no pretentiousness. It's just, hey, we're just hanging out and having a good time. And it doesn't matter sort of what situation you're in unless you want to talk about it and you want support. But that's what I really like about it. It's people in their home or wherever just hanging out and just having a good time. And to me, it's more invigorating mentally than just watching TV, although I do watch TV in VR, so I don't know what that, but I'm watching it with people sometimes, so it's cool.
Mhm.
And it's just something nice. And I just, it warms my heart to hear all this positivity. Even though, right, there is some of that stuff you got to watch out for. They got me looking over my shoulders over here, but overall, I think there's a lot of good here. So I guess that's all I will
Mhm.
say about that.
Well, and the last thing I want to add to that really quickly is a perfect example is my birthday. Guys, I'm not one to reach out to people. I'm not one to seek help. I don't accept help well. I never have. I've always been on the other side of the fence and the one who's handling stuff and making things happen and all that. But you know what? When my birthday came around, I was so sad. I was not looking forward to the day. I did not want to open my eyes. And I thought, I'm not going to get through it without my mom, all that stuff. But you know what? Stop it. You guys changed that. You guys made that day. You saved that day. You salvaged that day for me and salvaged my heart and my soul and my spirit. And if it weren't for you guys and what you did for me for my birthday, which I will never forget, and I can never thank you enough. But that is just a perfect example about how amazing you guys are and how amazing it is to be a good human and what you can do for others. Because if it weren't for you guys that day, I don't even know what to say. But you guys made everything amazing, and I can never thank you enough. And so for me, I will remember till the day I die what you guys did for me that day. So with that said, this is what I'm talking about. This is the beauty of what we can create in here with people who live across the world. Doesn't matter how far someone lives, but you know what? Our heartstrings reach that far across the world. Our heartstrings go around this globe many, many times. Doesn't matter how far apart we are. And being able to come together in a situation like this, in a place like this, is amazing. And I want to respect and honor it always. So with that said, though, I will say that I'm really glad we went over on this, and that's totally cool. There's
Me
about a half an hour
too.
left of the karaoke, which we will go sing, but we cannot do anything if we do not end with our dance break. We must always have this. Faye, do we have something for that? I want to move and dance.
Johnny is
I
going to
want to
hook us up.
Johnny's got it. Oh shoot! Here we
Yeah.
go. Guys, thank you so much for being here and for sticking around and engaging with us. Again, Faye, Johnny for next week, and get up here and dance, guys. Come on. What do you guys have
Come
to say
on,
here?
join us up here. We're gonna dance. Woo! Mosh
Snuggle,
pit.
We will
snuggle, snuggle.
Snuggle, snuggle, baby. We will be here next
Snuggle,
week. We want you
snuggle.
all to come here. Thank you for everything. Zed, thank you for the streaming, and guys, thank you for just being yourselves and bringing your amazing selves here. Woo!
See you